today will focus on the importance of doubling down when you have become established creating content in a niche. This is brought to you by Little Nouns and Expansion DAO, if you don't know, based on the famous Nouns DAO, who fund cool creative endeavors which can proliferate the Nounish meme. Now, the reason why I've been thinking about this for the show the last quarter is because we noticed all of our videos increasing in views on YouTube over time, and we know the show is going well, and we already go live on X Video, YouTube, and upload after the show to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But the question we've been really trying to consider is like, how can we give people more of what they want in the most efficient way possible? And we already work with an editor who helps us with 1 short per day for YouTube Shorts and a clip for X. But we thought, do you know what? If people miss the live show, maybe the catching up purely live isn't the optimum way to consume the content. So maybe highlight videos, what would be better. So the way we decided to double down was start cutting the best combo from each show. So this is what we will do for today's show as well. Maybe the 5 to 10 minutes that we think after the show was the best bit that everyone would want to capture each day, and upload that as a separate video. And these are actually starting to hit now, with some of them hitting hundreds of views, which is great for us as a start. Like on YouTube, we're still very much building out, but some of those videos are doing numbers. So Sam, since your AI agent roundups, since you've been doing them, I've noticed you double down on that content as well, and kind of figure out how to give your audience more of what they want. As a creator, what are your tips to kind of double down and proliferate the content that you already create?
Well, I think my content's quite deep. Like it goes into quite heavy analysis, so it's not for the faint-hearted all the time. And I do get that question, like, do you have something that's more high level? And I do a newsletter, so on a weekly basis, I do a recap of everything I've done. But even that's pretty lengthy. So what I tend to do is then cut out like key sections from that, or the key points, put that into like article format on Twitter, and give like a more concise version. And that seems to do relatively well. Whereas previously, when I used to copy what was in the newsletter onto Twitter, it just wouldn't get the engagement, because the attention span is different. Like people go to a newsletter probably to spend that time reading about what's going on in depth. On Twitter, they'll probably see an article, start flicking through it, and then get bored after 20 seconds. And I think people's attention span shifts depending on the platform they're on. And that's why, like, even with the daily roundups that I do for that analysis, like that leans into smart engagement versus like market cap. But then there's a load of other stuff that is actually pretty interesting that can be carved out separately in a different thread, and that appeals to a completely different audience. So it's just trying to work out, okay, well, what's the interesting stuff? How do you present it in a concise way and a form that's like engaging? Because everyone's different in terms of how they consume that. And I think just appealing to a wider audience, like, it definitely helps.